Today, we're diving into a topic that many talk about, but few truly understand: the secret to attracting quality men. Let me begin by saying this: attracting quality men isn't about changing who you are. It's about becoming more of who you truly are. We live in a world where superficial attraction is often mistaken for real connection. But quality men, those who are emotionally mature, respectful, driven, and ready for partnership, are not swayed by looks alone. They are drawn to authenticity, confidence, and self-respect. In a world filled with filters, facades, and the constant pressure to be someone else, authenticity has become rare and incredibly attractive. When it comes to attracting quality men, nothing is more powerful than being unapologetically yourself. Authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. It's about showing up as who you truly are, with your strengths, your quirks, your values, and even your flaws, and owning every part of that without shame. Quality men, the kind who are emotionally intelligent, grounded, and relationship ready, aren't looking for someone who fits a checklist or plays a role to impress them. They've likely experienced the superficial relationships and fleeting attractions. What they crave now is depth. They want a connection that's built on truth, not performance. When you are authentic, you send a clear message: this is me. Take me as I am, or keep walking. And that level of honesty is not only refreshing, it's irresistible to the right man. Authenticity also builds trust. When a man sees that you are consistent in how you present yourself, that the version of you he meets today is the same one he'll meet tomorrow, he feels safe. He knows you're not playing games or hiding behind a mask. That's when real connection becomes possible. Being authentic also allows you to attract men who are aligned with your truth, men who appreciate you for you, rather than for who you pretend to be. When you dim your light or change who you are to attract someone, you may win their attention, but not their respect, and certainly not their love. But when you stand in your truth, you naturally repel the wrong people and draw in those who are aligned with your values, personality, and lifestyle. So let go of the need to impress or perform. Forget the scripts, the dating rules, and the pressure to be who you think men want. Instead, reconnect with who you truly are. Speak your truth. Embrace your story. Let your heart show. Because authenticity isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. Self-love isn't just a trendy phrase, it's the foundation of every healthy relationship you'll ever have, especially with a quality man. When you genuinely love yourself, you radiate a kind of energy that naturally attracts people who respect, admire, and want to support that same energy. It's not arrogance. It's not self-obsession. It's a deep-rooted sense of worthiness that says, I am enough just as I am. Think of it this way: how can you expect someone else to love and value you if you don't love and value yourself first? The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how others will treat you. When a woman walks into a room with self-respect, confidence, and inner peace, she doesn't have to beg for attention. She commands it effortlessly. That's the power of self-love. Quality men, the kind who are secure in themselves and looking for meaningful connections, are incredibly drawn to women who already feel whole. Why? Because a woman who loves herself doesn't seek a man to complete her. She seeks someone to complement her. She's not looking for someone to save her or validate her. She's already her own biggest cheerleader. That creates a relationship dynamic rooted in equality and mutual respect. Self-love also creates clarity. When you know your value, you're less likely to tolerate poor treatment, mixed signals, or emotionally unavailable partners. You won't waste your time trying to prove your worth or change yourself to fit someone else's mold. Instead, you'll have the strength to walk away from what doesn't serve you and wait for what does. That's not weakness. That's power. And perhaps most importantly, self-love is healing. It helps you move through past hurts and disappointments without carrying them into your future relationships. It allows you to forgive yourself, set boundaries, and make choices from a place of wholeness rather than fear or scarcity. When you love yourself deeply, you become less reactive and more intentional, more secure in love, and less anxious in connection. So when people ask, what makes her different? Or, why do quality men gravitate toward her? The answer often lies in the way she treats herself. Herself, love becomes her standard, her shield, and her invitation. And it tells the world, only those who can meet me at this level are welcome here. That kind of self-respect is impossible to ignore and absolutely magnetic. While physical attraction might spark initial interest, it's confidence that truly captivates and holds the attention of quality men. In a society that often emphasizes beauty standards and external perfection, it's easy to believe that appearance is the most important factor in attracting love. But here's the truth. A confident woman outshines a physically perfect one every single time, especially in the eyes of a mature, emotionally grounded man. Confidence isn't about being loud or dominating a room. It's about carrying yourself with a quiet strength, a knowing smile, and a deep sense of self-assurance that says, I am comfortable in my own skin. Confidence is magnetic because it communicates that you are secure in who you are, without the need for constant validation. It makes people curious. It makes you unforgettable. When you're confident, you speak with purpose. You hold eye contact. You take up space, not just physically, but emotionally and intellectually. You don't shrink yourself to make others feel more comfortable. You don't apologize for your presence or your standards. And that kind of energy is not only attractive, it's commanding. Quality men are not looking for perfection. They're looking for connection. And confidence is what allows that connection to flourish. A woman who believes in herself inspires others to believe in her too. She doesn't rely on trends or societal approval to feel worthy. She creates her own definition of beauty, success, and love, and lives by it. What's more, confidence signals emotional maturity. It shows that you've done the inner work to heal, grow, and understand your value. It shows that you can stand on your own and that any man who comes into your life is a bonus, not a lifeline. This changes the dynamic of attraction entirely, from dependency to empowered partnership. Even your flaws, when embraced with confidence, become endearing. Confidence gives you the courage to be vulnerable, to laugh at yourself, to admit mistakes, and still feel worthy. It's not about pretending to have it all together. It's about trusting yourself even when things are uncertain. A confident woman doesn't try to be the most beautiful woman in the room. She just knows who she is, and that's more than enough. That belief, that inner light, is what draws the attention and admiration of a quality man, not just momentarily, but meaningfully. One of the most powerful, yet often overlooked ways to attract quality men is by having and honoring healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not about building walls to keep people out. They are about creating a strong, respectful framework for how you expect to be treated. They are a reflection of your self-worth, and when enforced with clarity and consistency, they send a powerful message. I know who I am, I know what I deserve, and I will not settle for less. Quality men, those who are emotionally intelligent and looking for a meaningful connection, respect boundaries. In fact, they are drawn to women who have them. Why? Because boundaries indicate emotional maturity, self-respect, and the ability to love from a place of strength rather than need. A woman who can say no without guilt, who doesn't overextend herself to earn affection, and who doesn't compromise her values just to keep a man around, is a woman who knows her worth. Boundaries also create safety and clarity in a relationship. They define what's acceptable and what's not, preventing misunderstandings, resentment, and emotional confusion. When you communicate your needs and expectations early and honestly, you allow the right man to rise and meet them. And you naturally filter out those who cannot or will not. For example, if you value emotional availability and consistency, and a man shows inconsistent behavior, a woman with strong boundaries will recognize that as misalignment and step back, instead of making excuses or chasing his attention. That one decision, to honor her own standard, protects her time, energy, and heart. And that's attractive not just to others, but to herself. It's also important to understand that boundaries don't make you difficult or high maintenance. In fact, the opposite is true. Boundaries make relationships smoother and more authentic. They eliminate the guesswork. A man who is truly ready for partnership will appreciate knowing where you stand, and he will admire your courage in standing firm. Furthermore, boundaries are empowering. They allow you to stay true to your values, protect your emotional well-being, and navigate dating and relationships with confidence and clarity. They're not about controlling others. They're about choosing what you will and won't accept in your life. They are an act of self-love in motion. There is something undeniably attractive about a woman who is deeply connected to her purpose. She wakes up with intention, follows her passions, and lives a life that's meaningful to her, with or without a partner. This kind of woman doesn't chase people. She chases growth, fulfillment, and her own definition of success. And that pursuit, that fire within, is what draws high-quality men to her. Quality men are not looking for someone who revolves their entire world around them. They are attracted to women who are grounded in who they are and what they love. A woman who knows where she's going, or is at least intentionally exploring her path, exudes confidence, independence, and emotional depth. She doesn't need a man to give her life direction. She already has one. What she seeks is a partner to walk beside her, not someone to complete her or lead her away from herself. When you pursue purpose, you become more fulfilled from within. You're not waiting for love to rescue you from boredom, emptiness, or insecurity, because your life already has meaning. You radiate a sense of contentment that isn't dependent on anyone else. And that's powerful. A woman who is in alignment with her purpose is often at peace, and that peace is something many are drawn to, but few possess. This doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. Your purpose doesn't have to be a flashy career, a massive platform, or a global mission. It can be anything that lights you up and gives your life meaning. Creating art, building a business, teaching, raising children, writing, healing, serving, or simply becoming the best version of yourself. What matters is that you're connected to something bigger than just finding a relationship. Men who are truly ready for love are not looking for someone to fix. They are looking for someone to build with, and a woman on a mission who is already building something meaningful is a woman they can respect, admire, and invest in. Your ambition, your focus, and your ability to nurture your dreams make you more than just desirable. They make you unforgettable. Pursuing your purpose also prevents you from falling into patterns of codependency or desperation in relationships. When your identity is rooted in your goals, passions, and growth, you don't settle for just anyone to fill a void. You become more discerning. You don't chase attention, you attract alignment. A woman who lives her life with intention doesn't just inspire others, she raises the standard. And in doing so, she creates space for the kind of love that isn't just based on chemistry, but on shared vision, mutual respect, and a deep appreciation for who each person is individually and together. At the heart of every strong and lasting relationship is one essential ingredient: communication. But not just any communication. Clear, honest, and emotionally intelligent communication. When it comes to attracting and building a relationship with a quality man, the ability to express yourself with clarity and authenticity is a skill that sets you apart. It's not just attractive, it's essential. Clear communication shows that you know yourself, your needs, and your values. It allows you to share those things openly without fear, manipulation, or passive aggressiveness. Quality men don't want to play guessing games. They don't want to decode mixed messages or tiptoe around unspoken expectations. They want a partner who is emotionally mature enough to speak her truth, calmly, respectfully, and clearly. Being able to say what you feel, what you want, and what you're uncomfortable with, without drama or guilt, shows strength and self-awareness. It shows that you trust yourself enough to be vulnerable and that you trust the other person enough to let them see you. That level of openness builds a foundation of trust and emotional safety, which is what every meaningful relationship needs to thrive. Clear communication also prevents unnecessary conflict and confusion. How many relationships fall apart not because of incompatibility, but because of assumptions, misunderstandings, and things left unsaid? When you express yourself clearly from the beginning, whether it's about your boundaries, your desires, or your intentions, you give the relationship a real chance to grow from a place of honesty. A woman who communicates clearly doesn't rely on manipulation or silence to make her point. She doesn't expect a man to read her mind or prove his love through tests. She uses her voice with confidence and compassion to express her truth. That level of emotional clarity is incredibly refreshing to a quality man. It tells him that you are not just emotionally available, but emotionally intelligent. Moreover, clear communication invites the same in return. When you create a space where honesty is welcomed and feelings can be expressed without judgment, it encourages the man you're with to open up as well. It fosters mutual understanding, which deepens emotional intimacy and strengthens the bond between you. Let's also acknowledge that communication isn't just about speaking. It's also about listening. A woman who knows how to truly listen, not just hear, builds a sense of respect and emotional closeness that makes a man feel seen and appreciated. That's the kind of emotional environment where love doesn't just survive. It flourishes. So many women have been taught to suppress their voice in order to be liked or chosen. But the truth is, a quality man is not intimidated by a woman who knows how to speak up. He is drawn to her because her words are not just noise. They carry depth, meaning, and intention. One of the most empowering shifts a woman can make in her love life is moving from chasing attention to attracting alignment. In a world where dating can feel like a competitive sport, it's easy to fall into the trap of constantly trying to prove yourself. Texting first, initiating plans, changing your behavior to be more likable, or even lowering your standards just to keep someone interested. But here's the truth. You don't have to chase what's meant for you. You simply need to become aligned with it. Chasing comes from a place of lack, a belief, conscious or not, that you're not enough on your own, or that love is scarce and must be pursued before it disappears. It leads to exhaustion, confusion, and often heartbreak. It puts you in a position of seeking validation rather than recognizing your inherent value. And the men you attract while chasing often mirror that imbalance. Emotionally unavailable, non-committal, or attracted to your effort rather than your essence. Attracting, on the other hand, is rooted in abundance and self-worth. It's the energy of someone who knows their value and doesn't need to convince anyone of it. When you're in attraction mode, you're not performing or proving. You're simply being. And from that place, you naturally draw in people, including high-quality men who are aligned with your energy, your standards, and your readiness for love. This doesn't mean you sit back passively or never show interest. Attraction doesn't require inaction. It requires intention. It means you lead with authenticity rather than anxiety. You connect from a place of fullness, not fear. You let go of the need to control outcomes and instead trust that the right connection will recognize and value you for who you truly are. Quality men are especially drawn to this kind of energy. They are not looking for someone to chase them or manage the entire relationship dynamic. They are looking for someone who is secure in herself, someone who inspires connection through her presence, not through pressure. When you stop chasing, you open the space for the right man to step in, initiate, and pursue you, not because he's being manipulated, but because he genuinely wants to. Attracting love is also about curating your environment, your energy, and your lifestyle in ways that reflect the kind of relationship you want. It means saying no to what doesn't serve you, making space for what does, and becoming the kind of person you want to invite into your life. When your actions and energy align with your standards, the universe and the people in it respond accordingly. It's not about doing more. It's about being more intentional. When you embody peace, joy, passion, and self-respect, that energy becomes magnetic. You're no longer chasing breadcrumbs. You're attracting a feast, and not just any attention. The right kind of attention from the right kind of man. A man who sees you, values you, and rises to meet you where you already stand. In a world that often rewards hustle, control, and hyper-independence, many women have been conditioned to operate constantly in their masculine energy, doing, striving, achieving, and leading. While these traits are powerful and absolutely necessary in many areas of life, when it comes to romantic relationships, especially with high-quality men, embracing your feminine energy can be a game changer. It's not about weakness or submission. It's about reconnecting with the soft, magnetic, radiant power that lies within your natural essence. Feminine energy is receptive, intuitive, nurturing, and creative. It thrives on connection, emotion, and flow rather than force. When a woman embodies her feminine energy, she becomes deeply present. She becomes a safe space, not only for others, but for herself. And that presence is what quality men, especially masculine energy men, are deeply drawn to, because it balances them, it soothes them, it inspires them. High-quality men don't want to compete with you, they want to complement you. They are naturally wired to provide, protect, and pursue, and they are most fulfilled when their efforts are received with appreciation, not resistance. When a woman is rooted in her feminine energy, she allows a man the space to show up in his masculinity. She doesn't try to control the dynamic. She invites rather than demands. She expresses rather than pressures. She leans into trust rather than fear. And in doing so, she creates a deeply attractive and irresistible polarity that draws him in, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Embracing your feminine energy also allows you to connect with your emotions more authentically. You're not suppressing your needs to appear chill, nor are you over-explaining them to gain approval. You are in tune with how you feel, and you communicate from that place, softly, clearly, and unapologetically. That emotional depth is what creates intimacy and inspires devotion from the right kind of man. Feminine energy is also about receiving. And for many women, especially those who are used to doing everything themselves, receiving can feel uncomfortable. But it is essential. Receiving doesn't mean you're helpless or incapable. It means you're open to support, care, and love. It means you're willing to allow someone to contribute to your happiness, not because you need them to complete you, because you understand the beauty of mutual exchange. You understand that allowing a man to give to you is not weakness. It's strength in its most graceful form. A woman in her feminine energy moves with ease, with grace, and with joy. She doesn't need to prove her worth. She embodies it. She doesn't chase. She attracts. She's in touch with her sensuality, her playfulness, her softness. And she knows that these are not liabilities in love, but her greatest assets. She trusts in the flow of life, the rhythm of connection, and the magnetism of being fully herself. In a world that encourages hardness, the woman who dares to stay soft, not naive, but open, becomes unforgettable. She becomes the calm in the storm, the warmth in the room, the light that draws in not just attention, but devotion from a man who is ready to rise with her, protect her, and love her deeply. So, as we bring this conversation to a close, let me leave you with this truth: attracting a quality man isn't about changing who you are. It's about coming home to who you've always been. It's about peeling back the layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning to reconnect with the woman inside who knows her worth, honors her boundaries, walks in her purpose, and radiates confidence from a place of deep self-love. You don't need to chase, perform, or settle. The love you seek starts with the love you give yourself. And when you become the kind of woman who holds herself with grace, who speaks her truth, who leans into her feminine strength, and lives with intention, you won't just attract attention, you'll attract alignment. Because quality men aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for presence. They're not looking for someone to complete. They're looking for someone to complement. And the moment you stop trying to be what you think others want and start becoming more of who you truly are, that's when the right kind of love will find its way to you, naturally, effortlessly, and powerfully. So remember, you are the prize. Walk like it, live like it, love like it.